Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Chaosville, and I am your master of horror for the evening, lying in bed, mon. So, renovations on the well are not as yet complete, but I thought that I would take the opportunity to discuss a topic that's been kind of heavy in my mind most recently, which is the nature of home. So, meanwhile, I'm just going to get on with continuing to renovate and design and stuff, and I'm just going to sort of vent, rant, whatever you want to call it, just on this particular topic that's kind of close to my heart lately. So, let's see what I get to work on. Well, the nature of home sort of boils down to, I suppose I should define my parameters here. Home, for me, is a place where you feel safe, secure, and where you can reliably find yourself to be comforted. So it's a place, they say home is where the heart is, but I think it goes slightly beyond that. It includes a bunch of other factors that I don't think are necessarily met by that statement. Now, the thing that happened to me recently is that well, this isn't very recent, but my parents got divorced a few months ago. And my mum subsequently moved out. My dad is still in the house that I grew up in for 20-odd years. But he's also got his latest girlfriend and her children and all sorts going on. And my mum has her own place now. So, the house that I grew up in has always been home. It's always seemed like the place that I could reliably go if I needed to stay for a few days, or if I needed someone to cook me a hot meal and give me a hug and all sorts when I was feeling down, or just line after line after line of great things that I've associated this place with. And so I got the opportunity to go back there. I've been busy with like university stuff, so I haven't had the opportunity for a while. But I got the opportunity to go back home for the first time in a while, fairly recently. And from that, I've kind of made a determination, which should probably come as no small surprise to anyone that's known me for a longer period of time than, say, a month. But, I don't think that place is home anymore. It doesn't feel like home anymore. I might want to just make note of this, shouldn't I? It sort of feels like it's a familiar location. It's got one person, at least, that I can rely upon to be supportive and helpful to me. And it's still safe and secure, that hasn't changed, but it's missing this element. It's missing my mother, effectively. And there's no way that I can really just shoehorn my mother back into the situation. So that place is irreparably, I would say, not home anymore. So my brain then goes to try and figure out, okay, well, what is home now? What constitutes home? Where am I home? And I don't really think I know anymore. Because I had a similar sort of revelation with my concept of engagement and marriage and whatnot. Those are concepts that have been central to a family view for decades, but for me they've changed in the past, like, half a decade or so. So I used to think an engagement meant you were going to get married, and a marriage meant you'd be together forever, but that's not the case anymore. We know this, that if anything, the divorce rates are going even higher than they've ever been. And I've been through an engagement that didn't end up in marriage. So I know, personally, that it's not the case there. So how do I define a home anymore? Well, safe and secure is a good starting point. I don't think it's something that is specifically crucial to a home, but I think it is something that is vital for a location to be home. Like, many places can be safe and secure, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're home. And many places cannot be safe and secure and can still theoretically be classified as home. Let's see, basic processes, okay. So I've got a laundry list of places that are safe and secure. This place here, my university home, my university house that I share with a couple of other guys, that's safe and secure-ish for Middlesbrough. But is it home? Well, I can come here, I have the keys, so I'll be able to be here for probably at least a few more months. And there are people here who are going to be kind and generally supportive. is this home? And then I'm not really sure. There's a concept that occurs in Japan. I don't know if this is particularly an old concept or a new one, following on from One Piece, most likely. But there's the concept of nakama. You have your family, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, all that stuff. I have a long list of that. My parents' families are big. And then you have your nakama, which is, as it has been explained to me, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, your nakama is the group of people that you have, with whom you have essentially a family-like relationship. So it's like, you say you have a friend that you think of as like a sister to you or a brother to you. That is a nakama. I don't necessarily know if I have a nakama. I know there's a lot of friends whom I am very friendly with. There's a lot of friends that I would always wish the absolute best upon. I don't 100% know if they would qualify as nakama, but I certainly would consider them well and friendly and all sorts. And I'm gonna have to grab some more quartz at some point. Oh well, it's not too difficult an issue. Okay. 2 of those, thank you. So if I'm saying that this location here in Middlesbrough, without any of my parents or family or such around, is not home, then does that mean that the nakama is worthless in this calculation? Well, I would say no. I mean, there's a lot of people, certainly around the world, who have bad relationships with their families. I certainly wouldn't want to dismiss their claims that they have a home. When all the things around them are their, perhaps their spouses, their friends and such, but certainly they're not. This is really hard to get without, like, demeaning someone. But sort of just, like, people who are not blood-related, or who had no relationship with them whilst they were growing up. My mother and father are still my mother and father. I still love them, and they're still my parents, even though they're not married. That never factored into my relationship with them. So I don't think that has any bearing on it, especially. But certainly I would say that there's a deep found connection that sort of defines family, be it given or chosen, that plays a role in what exactly qualifies as home. And from there we get to this state where just get rid of you, and you, okay. And we get into this state where it becomes a lot more, the concept of home becomes a lot more fluid, because it doesn't have to have your mother or your father or your brothers or your sisters or whatever, but it also doesn't necessarily have to have your friends, or even necessarily people with whom you are friendly. My brother and I have at this point, probably kind of jokingly, but still fairly antagonistic relationship. We are polar opposites, and, well, I wouldn't want to kill him, but I wouldn't necessarily avoid cracking a smile if I saw him in pain. But he is part of my family, and if he is around at a place, then I'm more likely to consider it home, I think. So, boiling it down, what do I classify as home? What is home to me? And again, we have this problem, because I don't really know. It's a place that's safe and secure. It's a place where you can feel comfortable and comforted and supported, either in your present endeavours or your future endeavours or past endeavours, but supported nonetheless. And then there's this phrase of making a house a home, and home is where the heart is, and all those cliche, stereotype statements. And I think that... it's going to be really tricky. I knew this wasn't going to be a particularly easy episode to record, by virtue of the fact that I'm doing a bunch of stuff that you guys probably really want to see me explain and stuff, like this, for example. But I really don't know. Hello, Bella. But meanwhile, I'm trying to talk about this complex issue that I know there's a lot of people probably screaming at their screens right now, trying to explain it to me or some such. But the way that I think I would, like, let's take it a few steps back. How was I defining home when my parents were together? Well, when my parents were together, we lived in the same house, the same 100+ years old house that my brother and I were growing up in for 20+ years, that my parents were both in, and my dad would constantly be out working or helping someone out, because that's the kind of guy he is. He's very helpful and very stubborn about helping people, even if he's not necessarily the most observant of people. And my mum would always be around to tell you what you were doing wrong and how to fix it, whereas my dad would usually just fix it himself. And then my mum would be the one that made dinner, or my dad would be the one to call ahead to tell me to make dinner. And there would be arguments, and there would be angry statements, and it was never like this sort of fairy tale style place that was just always happy and cheerful. But it was a place where you could light the fire at night, where you could sit down on a comfy sofa and watch TV, where you could eat your dinner off a plate on your lap, and mum would be snuggled up underneath a blanket next to you, willing to make the same snarky comments at whatever was on the screens. And it was a place that, rain or shine, you knew your dad would always return to. Like, he wasn't just going to vanish or anything like that. And I know that there are a lot of people who have homes like that, who have homes that aren't like that, so I apologize if I'm insulting you at all in saying that that is how I was then defining home. I assure you this definition has now changed. But that was a safe, a secure, a reliable environment in which I could feel comfortable and comforted, and all these other words that I'm using sort of like buzz terms, I guess. And now, the place that I grew up is lacking in a few of those variables that have made it seem familiar but alien. And there are many places that are familiar but alien to me. Pretty much all of my old schools are familiar locations that are now alien, that don't feel like home. Most of them never did, because they're schools, and why would they ever feel like home? And is this here if I'm going to need an output? I don't think so. But yeah, familiar but alien. I don't think that qualifies a location as home, or possibly it disqualifies a location as being home. So we can't really use that one. Yeah, that's gonna have output. So we can't really use. We can't qualify my old home as being home anymore. So we then have to reach this verdict. That's no longer home. It is safe and secure. The bulk of the variables that I defined a home as are still there, but there's no mum snuggled under a blanket watching TV there anymore. There's no reliability that mum will be there to tell you what you're doing wrong and how to fix it, or mum will make dinner for you and all sorts, that someone will shout up the stairwell to tell you that dinner's ready. And I'll always be the one making dinner. Yeah, my dad was a little tactless on occasion, but he's a fantastic guy. And let's move this into the middle, since we're gonna have this one odd one here that doesn't have an output. So, where is home now? If not the place that I grew up, where is home? And I think the answer is that I don't know, and I'm not convinced that I'll ever know again. It's certain finding where home is certainly something to be, something to look forward to. Finding a place where you feel at home is something that's definitely important in human life and happiness and such. We used to be nomads. A lot of people consider home to be any port in a storm or on the road or anything, but I'm not one of those people. I am very much, I need to know my bearings kind of guy, because I have a lot of variables in my brain that make me characterize and color different situations differently. And so I think, yeah, I think finding home is a good goal to have. But I think with the way that home and its definition has changed, I am probably not going to know where home is for the foreseeable future, probably. So I kind of need to give up on this notion that I have, at least presently, a home. I need to give up on this notion that there is a place that I can go to and be reliably comforted and feel safe and secure and warm and cuddled and all sorts. And just for those of you who don't know, I am a massive cuddle fiend. I'm a complete softie. So, if you didn't know that, well, here's a surprise for you. And I'm completely out of quartz. I'm just gonna go more of that. So, I guess I kind of need to look at it in the same way that I'm presently looking at a relationship, like a romantic relationship. This goes back to me being able to softy, which is, I don't have one presently. I am not likely to have one for quite some time. And at the end of the day, I can kind of get by without having that sort of safety net, that consolation. I don't have a significant other right now. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a spouse or I don't have a fiance or whatever. But I'm doing fine just by myself. I'm a fairly lonely guy, I'll admit, but I'm okay by myself. And it's a good thing to be okay by yourself. It's not necessarily a good thing to be lonely, but to be by oneself and to be lonely are separate things. So I'm in this sort of, I guess it might be a transitory period, but I'm in this sort of state where I'm not really in need of a home, and I'm getting by fairly okay without one. So I don't think I need to worry about that at this precise moment. Take a screenshot of that so that I don't forget what the sign said. So I don't think I need to worry about not having a home, or even just not knowing where home is at this precise moment. Is it necessarily a bad thing? Well, it's certainly not the happiest thing it could be, but is it necessarily a bad thing? Not really. There's plenty of people that I can rely on to be supportive and trustworthy and such, and then there's plenty of people that I can go to if I'm feeling down. My parents are still there. There's still options on that notion. They're just not in the same location as reliably, and I can't just show up unannounced or whatever. But they're still there. They're still supportive, and they're still nice people. And yeah, I have that support network, I guess, is the way to put it. I just don't have the same configuration of the support network that I used to have. Oh, you're standing in just the wrong place. Excuse me. Thank you. So, yeah, I don't... This is a very rambling episode. I knew it would be when I sat down to record it, but I also knew I wanted to cover this topic. I knew I knew this was the perfect position inside of Chaosville at the moment for me to discuss this topic, and I knew that I kind of wanted to get my thoughts on it on camera and discussed and such. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this. You'll hopefully see the full thing very soon. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish this, but the next episode will definitely at least begin with a tour of the finished premises. Hope you like this sneak peek, sort of, and sorry if you found the discussion boring. You can post in the comments what your concept of what your definition of home is. Maybe it doesn't include family or nakama or any of that. Maybe it doesn't include a safe and secure environment. Maybe it doesn't even include support of any kind. But that's sort of the best definition that I can use is my own in this particular circumstance. So that's the one I figured I would use here. Other than that, that's all for now, I think. And I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.